Hello, leg lover here, and we're back today on F1 2020. And as you can see, we're here at Bahrain, and today we're going to be doing another track guide. As always, we're going to be doing one lap at full speed, one lap in detail, and then I'll show you the setup. That was the lap, and as you can see, it's a 124.7. A few mistakes on that lap, so there was definitely time in it for 0.6, but I'm still overall happy with that lap because it is my new PB. And now we're going to go in more detail with that lap so that we can master the Bahrain International Circuit. Starting the lap now, heading down the main straight, reaching a top speed of 206 miles per hour. Turn 1 is a quite heavy braking zone, and we want to start braking around 10 to 15 meters before that 100 meter board. Really use the engine braking to help slow down the car. Don't touch the inside curb, and as soon as you hit the apex, you want to start applying the throttle. And on this apex, you just want to focus on setting up the entry for turn 2. You want to position the car towards the middle of the track, short shifting to third gear. And you can see right here, we're already full throttle towards the middle of the track to help for the entry of turn 2. Up to fourth gear, short shifting to fifth. And on the apex of turn 2, we're using all of that inside curb. Lifting off slightly because you can't take turn 2 flat out, but immediately back full throttle and using all of the curb for turn 3. And now we head down this straight, DRS wide open here. And for turn 4, we want to brake right on that 100 meter board. And we want to use all of the track as we enter this corner. Down to fourth gear, don't use too much of the inside curb. The exit is quite difficult since the track falls away. Short shifting to fifth gear and using all of the track on the exit of the corner, including that curb. And into the S section, we want to use all of this bit of track on the entry. And we want to brake as soon as we pass the end of that curb. Down to fifth gear, use a bit of that inside curb, and for the left, don't touch the inside curb at all, up to sixth gear. On the exit, be careful with this curb. I don't like to use too much of it because if you hit it wrong, it'll launch the car into the air and send you into a spin. So I generally don't like to use too much of that curb. But for turn 8 then, we want to brake after that light post goes out of view. The braking is quite difficult since it is downhill, but use that entry curb to help rotate the car. Don't touch the inside curb, but get close. Up to third gear, short shifting, and then up to fourth gear again. Avoid the exit curb. A little bit of oversteer, but still all good. And now into turns 9 and 10, we want to brake as that ambulance goes out of view. This braking point is quite difficult because not only is it downhill, but you are braking and turning at the same time the entire time. So you really have to nail the trail braking here. It's quite difficult to get right, it's very easy to lock up. But down to second gear, don't touch that outside curb. Don't touch the apex curb either. Short shift to third gear to help with the exit. Don't touch the exit curb. Short shift to fourth gear, and then DRS wide open down this straight, going up to 8th gear. And into this corner, we want to brake after we pass that light blue runoff area. And we want to use all of that entry curb. On the apex, don't go fully over the curb, up to 5th gear. Do not touch the exit curb because it will just ruin the exit of the corner. And for this flat out right-hander, we want to use all of the track on entry to help open up the corner because we don't want to be scrubbing off any speed through here. And now into this corner, we want to brake as that orange part of the barrier goes out of view. Start braking on the curb and then turn while braking with trail braking, and we want to start applying throttle even before we hit the apex there. We want to use that inside curb, but don't go fully over the curb. But on the exit though, we want to maximize the track usage here. You can see we got the track limits perfect here. A little bit further to the left and it would have been invalidated. You really have to maximize the track usage there to get a good exit. But we're now heading down this straight up to 7th gear and then up to 8th gear. For the final corner, we want to start braking right before the start of that red runoff area right there. And for the entry, we want to use as much of the track as possible. Down to 4th gear, don't use too much inside curb. Short shift to 5th gear. And right here, we're still turning as we apply the throttle here. So we don't want to use any of that inside curb until we straighten the car to help with the exit here. So you can see we're not on the curb, and then here we go on the curb as we straighten the car. And that is a lap of Bahrain. Moving on to the setup now, starting off with the aero. Using 3.7 wings on this setup. You could try 3.8 wings. I found that both of them work quite well, but I was pretty happy with how the car felt using 3.7 wings. Keep in mind that there is that middle sector that you need the downforce for, but it's important that you're also quick in the straight lines because there are quite a few straights at Bahrain and it's important that we have that straight line speed, but we still need to make compromises because of those corners, especially in the middle sector. For the transmission, using 50% on throttle and 54% off throttle differential, I tried going down to 53% for the off throttle differential, but I just found that the car was way too unstable on the entry to corners, especially turn 4. So I just couldn't control the rear of the car on that setting, so I just stuck with 54% on the off throttle. For the suspension geometry, using pretty normal settings here, negative 2.5 on the front camber, negative 2 on the rear camber, and then minimum toe. For the suspension, using 1.9 on the suspension springs, and then again 1.9 on the anti-roll bars. This felt quite good for me, so stable through the corners as well as providing for lots of rotation. And then the ride height, using 2.3 on the ride height so that we can be quick on the straights, but at the same time we're not bottoming out or anything, so that setting worked all okay when I was driving the car. For the brakes, using 100% brake pressure and 50% brake bias. And then finally for the tire pressures, using minimum as always. That's going to be it for this video. If you did enjoy it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe as I post F1 content 3 times per week, Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. Next week there won't be any videos as I'm just taking a 1-week break, and then I'll be back with the normal uploads like I normally do every week. But thank you all so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.